when you get a haul like that, you have to look at it strongly.
And you have to remember, you're Minnesota. These guys will be locked up for several years. You could keep them there. You wouldn't have to worry about free agency. And with Wiggins and Bennett, they're from Canada. And that's, you know, a climate that's similar to Minnesota in part. You know, maybe that plays in, and those guys would be comfortable there.
And I know Bennett had a rough rookie season. People can talk. He's slimmed down. He is a guy who still intrigues a lot of front office people.
Started to turn the corner at the end of the year. There were flashes of that number one pick.
If they could get Wiggins, Bennett, another young guy like Waiters, and a future pick or whatever it is. I mean, the point is Cleveland has a ton to put on the table here and get in this game.
Love is the biggest buzz right now. Is that safe to say?
And Bosch. I mean, what Houston's doing with, Houston now is working feverishly. This is great for the Rockets because at least they have clarity.
All right.
At least they know LeBron has decided and they can make their move.
Let's talk more about the man who has yet to drive a car in the NBA, and now he's been given the keys to the Maserati. And that's David Blatt. Well, he hasn't coached. Boy, welcome to the NBA. Here's LeBron James.
He's got great respect around the world as a
Tell us more about
Obviously,
him.
he's never coached in the NBA, but in Europe, he's viewed as one of the best coaches in all of Europe, and even in all of the world. Kyrie Irving loves him. Kyrie Irving, we heard all throughout the season, he wasn't happy in Cleveland. Relationships there weren't good.
What does he love about him?
Just his presence.
What is his style? What will we see?
Well, you've been talking about your home turf all day. Let me say a little bit about my home turf, because Israel's a country I know a little bit about, where David Blatt basically went as a player, naturalized Israeli, coached with many teams, successful with a Russian national team, but most recently of Maccabi Tel Aviv. When you coach Maccabi Tel Aviv, you have to win every single game you coach. So this guy's used to coaching under pressure. He almost got fired at the start of the season because they had a 4 and 5 start or something like that. He ended up winning the Euro League with a team no one on earth thought could win. And one Western Conference general manager told me, I don't know how, I was there in the arena, I don't know how they won. Maccabi Tel Aviv was outgunned at every position except coach.
Wow.
As a tactician, his resume is unimpeachable. Everybody will tell you this guy can coach, but
offensive, defensive,
he's known more of an offensive guy. But we also know coaching success in the NBA is not just dependent on your X and O ability. You've got to get guys to buy in. So that is going to be the big challenge. How will NBA players who largely haven't even heard of him respond to this guy? But like you're saying, Kyrie, all the signals already is Kyrie's buying in already, and this was before they had a LeBron commitment.
And I'm sure LeBron at least knows something about it. His high school teammate and still very good friend who was with him in Las Vegas, Romeo Travis, played for David Blatt over in Europe. So he, has a good, I'm sure he's briefed LeBron on what this guy is all about and how he coaches, his style. And the Cavaliers also brought in Tyronn Lue as an assistant, one of the highest paid assistants in the history of the league. They brought him in because, as you said, to relate to the players and make sure that all of that runs smoothly. David Griffin, the new GM for the Cavs, has done a good job with it.
It's a big difference coaching in Europe to the United States, not just because of the number of games, not just because there's no practice time, but in Europe, the coach is also the GM and almost as powerful as the owner. The coach really wields a hammer with these European teams. In Cleveland, David Blatt is just going to be a coach, and a coach who now is going to be heavily scrutinized. But if we're just talking about his X and O acumen, Cleveland's going to be fine.
All right, and let's do this. Let's show you what Las Vegas did as soon as the news broke. They immediately, in Las Vegas, put the Cleveland Cavaliers at the top of the heap. They have them guys as a 3-1 favorite to win the title. This is a team that's missed the playoffs the last 4 years. Now, obviously, LeBron James...
Has a Cleveland team ever been favored to win a championship in any sport?
I can only say that I imagine in the 90s when the Indians were so powerful, yes, and when Cleveland was with when LeBron was with Cleveland the first time, yeah, they probably were, but it's stunning. Well,
that speaks to
put them right at the top.
I think that's a bit premature. I think they can win the East. In fact, I mean, you look at Indiana, right now they don't have Lance Stevenson. We saw them melt down last year. Miami, who knows what they're going to look like. Even if they get Bosch and Wade back, I don't think
the whole thing is a different kettle of fish altogether. We know that the power is in the West.
Well, yeah, but let's say getting to the final. Yeah, I don't think Cleveland
they have the best player in the game, and they're in the Eastern Conference. So, I mean, you have to think they have a great chance to be in the finals. And who you can't. I mean, San Antonio obviously had a brilliant season, but we saw San Antonio push to 7 games in the first round by Dallas. In the West, you could just as easily be knocked out in round 1 as you can get all the way to the finals.
And it's a battle of attrition, too. You would think that with all those tough teams in the West, by the time the team emerges to the finals, they're going to have
It didn't really look like that a month ago, but no, it didn't. But I tell you what, the one team in the East that I think definitively would be, well, maybe not definitively, but ahead of the Cavs is if Melo goes to Chicago. And then that team.
See, I want to see those odds if Pau Gasol goes to Oklahoma City or San Antonio. I want to see those.
Yeah, then the asterisk is all that subject to change. Once these pieces land, let's do this because it's the bottom of the hour. So we'll sort of reset the news for you in case you've been in a cave and you haven't heard. Yes, LeBron James has made the announcement that he is going back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He made the announcement in a first-person essay that he released through SportsIllustrated.com. That letter, by the way, which we've read excerpts of throughout the last hour and change on SportsCenter, is in its entirety on the SportsCenter app. So if you want to read through the whole thing, you can find it there. You can do it there. As for the other guys, we've talked about the big piece, which is Kevin Love, and there's a lot of speculation that Cleveland would try to bring him in to add another superstar caliber player to that roster. But let's talk now about some of the other guys that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks in Bosh and in Melo, and in even Dwayne Wade. What do we anticipate happening with these guys, and what's the time frame?
Well, the Bosh time frame's got to happen quick because Houston is going to be pressing for a commitment because they need to make moves fast. They already have an agreement in principle to trade Omar Ashik to New Orleans, but that actually still needs to be completed, and that's stuff they're working on. That one will happen first. They also need to find a trade for Jeremy Lin, and they might have to get rid of a little more salary on top of that to offer Bosh the max. But the word I got today, what I was told from a source close to the situation, is the Rockets feel like, quote, soon they are going to get a commitment from Chris Bosh to leave Miami and go to Houston.
I've been told the last couple of days from people around this situation that Bosh will definitely go to Houston if indeed LeBron were to leave, and obviously that's happened. We haven't heard anything from Bosh's camp or his agent at this point. Just we'll see what happens. But Houston, they're saying they can get a trade easily for Jeremy Lin. But I've been hearing that the Philadelphia thing is far from a done deal. Golden State was a team they had talked to earlier. They signed Sean Livingston, so you would think they're out.
They have to move him.
They have to move him. 100%. They absolutely have to move him.
What these teams want, Philadelphia, Utah, Milwaukee's another team that has expressed interest in Jeremy Lin. What these teams want is they're asking Houston, what are you going to give us? What picks are you going to give us to take on Jeremy Lin's contract?
Yeah. All right, we'll watch and wait. And right now, let's send it over to Chris McHenry. We're going to get our first view of what things are like in Cleveland right now.
So, Jay, on the day your team gets LeBron James, my team might get Jeremy Lin. Yeah, you win. Let's get to Cleveland. Josina Anderson has spent the week there where everybody was anxiously hoping for the news they got just more than an hour or so ago. Josina?
Well, you can see right now there's straight jubilation in the city of Cleveland. Lots of fans just gathering behind me who are completely happy to hear the news that LeBron James is going to put on a Cavs jersey again. It seems like a while ago I was just in the van, expecting to do my next live shots. And then that tweet came across my laptop saying that LeBron James is coming home. And, right after that, we saw some Cavs personnel scamper right behind me, go into the Quicken Loans Arena. Fans have been screaming. They've been high-fiving. They've been honking in the streets as well. And in the midst of that, I was able to get in touch with one of the Cavs owners who said the following statement to me. He said, ownership is very pleased to support LeBron's quest to come back to Cleveland and bring a championship to the city. We are very excited to have him back in a Cavs uniform. LeBron is a great ambassador for the NBA, the Cavaliers, and this great city. And, of course, right after that, we got right to work to get reaction in the city and the pulse of all the people loving the fact that LeBron James is going to try and complete this fairy tale with his homecoming. Take a listen.
It's great. Can't wait to see him. He's one of the best players to ever play, so you got to respect it.
Were you easily forgiving him?
Oh, of course. he made a decision. He made a business decision. You can't hold it against him.
Now, what do you think it means for this city to have him come back?
Great things. Wow, championships. I'm ready to see the Cavs win again.
It's to build a legacy, you know. He wants to come back. This is his home. He was an Akron kid. It'd be a great legacy for sure.
The sense in Cleveland 4 years ago is that, you know, we lost him for good, but now that he's coming back, you know, I think he knows how special a championship would mean to this area and to the city and all of Northeast Ohio, and I think that's what everyone's excited about, that he understands the passion of this area. And that was why people were so upset, is, you know, he left this fan base for how passionate we were.
Now that LeBron is coming back, he will be remembered in entirety with an entire city.
So he means that much to this city, you think?
I really think he does. I mean, all eyes have been on this guy. They've been talking about LeBron more than they've been talking about the president lately. Everyone's waiting on him. That's all we've been talking about in Cleveland the last 4 days. I'm saying every conversation, when I'm at the bar, when I'm at home, when I'm doing laundry, at the store, all we've been talking about is LeBron. Now that we know he's coming back, we're just excited for the ride, baby.
So we have had quite a few reactions from the fans here in Cleveland. I'm not sure if you saw it as part of that montage of sound, but there was one fan who had some powder. He put it in the air, obviously doing the famous LeBron celebration. We've got one fan behind me, not sure if you can see him, but he has a sign that says, "The King has returned." And we also have some fans that have been makeshifting the cheer with the spelling of his first name, Lebron. So therefore, they're definitely happy that he is returning home. This is a story that they wanted to hear, and we'll definitely be collecting more reaction for you guys back there in the studio. Chris, back to you.
Josina, thanks. Shouldn't be hard to find, that's for sure. We'll be back throughout the day. To Josina Anderson in Cleveland. Jay?
Chris, right now, let's take a look at what social media is saying about LeBron's homecoming. Welcome home. This from Dan Gilbert, the Cavs owner. I'm excited for the fans and people of Cleveland and Ohio. No fans and people deserve a winner more than them. And as we move along, you can tweet it again. My 8-year-old, Daddy, does this mean I can finally wear my LeBron jersey again? That's pretty funny. Yes, it does, son. Yes, it does. You're going to start to see a lot of those around Cleveland, and they won't be on fire. Tristan Thompson, now his Cavs teammate. Welcome back, bro. Your city awaits. And how about this one? Johnny Manziel. Yes. Couldn't be happier for my guy, King James, and the Cavs, and Cleveland fans in general. Johnny Manziel, just such a hyped player in college football the last couple of years, and now he's in Cleveland, and LeBron is back, and Nick Swisher, who went to Ohio State, and when he was a free agent with the Yankees, decided that he would sign with Cleveland, led them to the playoffs last year. All right, King James, let's go Cleveland sports. What an awesome start to the day. Great to see him come back to where it all started. The most interesting thing on your phone right now, can you share it with us?
Well, I'm told the Cavs have offered Deion Waiters, Anthony Bennett in the first-round pick was their first offer for Kevin Love. I doubt that gets it done, but that's what...
Minnesota hasn't necessarily spit on that trade yet, but so the first offer does not include Andrew Wiggins.
They're going to try to get it done without Wiggins, but I think that'll be very tough.
What's the most interesting thing on your phone that you can share with us right now?
Well, just everybody's telling me that Bosch he's going to Houston.
Done.
I mean, that it's, you know, you can't say done until it's done, but the Rockets believe they are getting Bosch, and now it's just a matter of making the moves to have enough money to get him. Now, you have to caution when it's a bit of a tough position for the Rockets, when everybody knows why you're trying to make trades. Prices can change, and it's, you know, not a foregone conclusion. Like you said, they have to trade Jeremy Lin. So the team on the other lines said, well, 1 first-round pick, well, why don't you make it 2? So Houston still has to get Lin off its books, but Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets have never had trouble making trades. So between now and Sunday's buzzer on Chandler Parsons, you have to think they're going to find a way.
And if you're a team out west, are you trying to help them get Chris Bosh when you know exactly what they want to do? Just as they could be empowered if they can get Bosh and Chandler Parsons, losing those 2 guys could really hurt them, and that could be a game changer out west. So they're going to have to really give a lot to get these deals.
They got to know they've got Bosh locked up, but all signs point to that happening. But think about it again, the teams we're mentioning, Philadelphia, Utah, Milwaukee. Those are 3 teams I've heard as potential destinations for Jeremy Lin. If you get a pick or two from Houston for your future, Jeremy Lin, while expensive, he also is going to sell a lot of tickets too. So in those cities, there's an appeal to have him for a year on an expiring deal. Plus, you're getting a future asset.
The intrigue of Jason Kidd and Jeremy Lin in Milwaukee, you know, selling tickets, it's part of the game. It is a business.
From what I'm told, the owners there are big Jeremy Lin fans, so keep an eye on Milwaukee. They might be a sleeper in that.
They need names.
Race.
They need names.
Sure. You know? Okay, guys, sit tight. We'll be back. Right now, let's go over to Chris.
Guys, Avery Johnson joins me now, our analyst. Avery, your reaction to the news? LeBron says he's going home.